if I tell more people, they have more opportunity to create something for themselves. And I want that for other people. I want to see the success that can come from real estate and business acquisition and business building and personal development to where somebody
networking
and connecting with other positive people. Jason had an incredibly impactful call today from somebody he connected with 20 years ago. And I won't dive into that, but it gives me the shivers of like, that person reached out to Jason because he had an impact on that guy's life.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. I'm Jason.
I'm Colter.
And this is the Massive Passive Income Show.
Oh man, you nailed it. Oh man.
Nailed it on that one.
The things awesome that we work through, you know what? The introductions, I mean, I almost forgot my name. He simply forgot the name of the podcast.
That's right. That's right. So I'm excited about this podcast because we want to do the purpose of why we're doing this podcast, which I think is good because I want people to enjoy the podcast. I want people to tune into it. I want it to be something that people can reference. But let's dive into the reasons why you and I decided to and what we are hoping people can get out of this.
Yeah. Well, and you'll notice that I have a piece of paper and pen here with me, and I love to brainstorm. One of my favorite things is to jump on a whiteboard, and I'll take blank sheets of paper like that. And what I do is I start to make notes. And so what we want to do is we want to talk about our purpose, our cause, and our passion behind what the Massive and Passive Income Show
PCP,
is.
Purpose, cause, and passion.
This is our PCP. Everybody, this is PCP. Everybody see that? PCP. So our purpose, cause, and passion is what, right? And so who is it that we're trying to target? Why is it that they would ever listen to Jason and Colter? And why would they spend their time, their energy, and with us?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what sticks out for you in your mind, Jason? And let's just dive into it.
Let's do it. So back in the day, when I became a full-time investor, I joined a buddy of mine and we started doing mortgages together. And then him and I decided to put a radio program together on AM 590. On that radio program, it was only 30 minutes, and then it went into an hour, and then it became an hour and a half. And we were right after Paul Harvey, and it became hugely popular. In fact, we were one of the most popular shows in the area. And we loved it. We had tons of followers. And what I loved about it is we were able to serve people at a higher level. And I know I hate saying that, but it really was true because we really were able to educate and help people. And by educate and help people, we serve them. And then we used to do workshops, and we invite people to workshops. In fact, that's how you got involved with what we were doing, was you listened to the radio program. Well, then, a whole bunch of things happened, and some big conglomerate came in, and they bought out all of the shows. They figured Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity were going to bring more people than me, so, which is fine. So they said, look, you can have a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning, but we can't do the Wednesday morning anymore. And I'm like, well, I don't want this to become a job. I'm not doing my Saturdays or my Sundays. My kids were playing football and sports, so that didn't work out. We moved to Boise, and my wife and I did a radio program over in Boise for a while, about a year and a half, and we were the highest rated program that they had for that station. We just talked about real estate, talked about different things and mindset and business. Well, then we moved from Boise, we moved back. And I've always wanted to get back on the radio, but I don't want to do a weekend show because my weekends are pretty packed, and there just was no platform. So I've had this thought of doing a podcast. And if you talk to a few people, I've been talking about it for 3-4 years, but I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to get it going. Well, then Colter and I, we reconnected down in August of last year. And I just mentioned to Colter, hey, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. He's like, let's do it. I mean, it was and Colter's a doer. And I'm a big thinker. And so the two of us together, we were able to make this happen, and we got a hold of Ryan, and Ryan's like, yeah, I'd love to do it with you. And that's what was born. But the reason why I wanted to do it is not just to, hey, I'm cool, I have a podcast, but it's to really help and serve people and let them know that there is a way you can make a little extra money. There is a side hustle out there that's worth having. There is a way to generate cash flow. There is a way to start a small business to save money on taxes. There is a way for you to dream again or to make some extra money to accomplish your goals. And we need to let people know about it.
Well, and I'm here, and we're here, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, man, I love the motivating factors behind this too. And when we reconnected in August, it was like, okay, there's something that we can do here, and it was quickly recognizable.
Yeah.
Like, there's something, and so let's move forward with it. And so I guess I want to walk through a little bit of my journey and why I think this podcast can be helpful to other people.
Let's do it.
About 3 months ago, I had a guy say to me, Colter, why didn't you tell me about this when we met 14 years ago?
I've had that conversation before. Yeah.
He's like, Colter, I could have used this 14 years ago, and you had it prior to when you had it 15 years ago, and you were starting it, and you were talking about it, and you were building a business, and you were focused on real estate. Had you only told me more about what you were doing and why you were doing it, and I could be in a better position than what I am today. And that hit me a couple of months ago. Like, okay, you and I could talk about a lot of things for hours and hours and hours on end, and we will get something done for us.
Yeah.
But what that conversation did for me a couple of months ago was like, if I tell more people, they have more opportunity to create something for themselves. And I want that for other people. I want to see the success that can come from real estate and business acquisition and business building and personal development to where somebody
Networking
and connecting with other positive people. Jason had an incredibly impactful call today from somebody he connected with 20 years ago. And I won't dive into that, but it gives me the shivers of like, that person reached out to Jason because he had an impact on that guy's life.
Yeah.
To the point where that guy could be in a position that is scary. And there's others that are out there. And we've gone through these ups and downs, and people that we love, but we just don't know how to share the love with them yet. How to serve them.
Yeah.
And I love that there's a book and there's concepts all about this servant leadership. And at the end of the day, this podcast hasn't turned into anything other than good conversations for us. Is it making us money? Maybe it will someday. But if it makes you money, if it turns into something more productive for yourself, if it does better for you and your personal development, what you're trying to create for you and your family, for your travels or for your interests or your personal financial well-being, heck, that's what we want to accomplish.
Definitely. I love that. I love how you put that into perspective because it really is. I mean, we could talk for hours. I mean, we seriously could. I could talk for 3 days about real estate and about business. But what does that help? What does that do for anybody else out there? And I think for people, they know there's something more. They know there's a way that they could create more cash flow. They know there's a way that they could buy some real estate. They know there's a way they could build their wealth, but they just don't know how to get going. They don't know how to connect the dots. A mentor of mine one day said, we can't serve them until we sell them. And that's where we're here to sell you on the concept that you don't have to stop dreaming. We're here to sell you on the concept that real estate's a way that you could really go out there and make some good things happen for you and your family, to make some extra money, to create some cash flow, to create wealth that you can take advantage of years from now. We're trying to sell you on that concept. And until you buy into that concept, we can't serve you. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. We're trying to create something that people can listen to, that can get inspired, hopefully get inspired by us, and hopefully go out there and take some action and do something they would have normally done unless they would have had a couple people that they could listen to on a podcast that's been through business, been through ups, been through downs, made some money, lost some money. We've pretty much been on all scopes of everything you can talk about. My wife and I make this joke all the time. We've made more money and lost more money than most people ever make in a lifetime. And not to scare anybody of losing money. It's just business. It's business. We've been in the ups, we've been in the downs, we've lived 3 lifetimes in our 23 years we've been married. We really have. And we've survived it, which is no small miracle, because you know me, and I'm a tough guy. So anyways, it's just awesome to have a platform that we can share our passion, share our experience, and hopefully help somebody else along the way.
All right, so I've got to bring the nostalgia in here.
Okay, do it.
Because so as you talked about your radio show 15, 16 years ago, you served me indirectly. I wasn't the beneficiary of actually hearing you on the show. It was actually my dad that heard. And so what happened is I was already engaged in wanting to do real estate. I was in the middle of negotiating a short sale deal. I was excited. I knew I wanted to invest in real estate. And my dad calls me one day and says, Colter, I need you to take 3 days and we're going to go to this seminar and we're going to learn all about real estate. I heard it on the radio and we're going to be there 3 weeks from now. And I said, yeah, fine. I mean,
let's do it.
My dad's invited me to do something.
Yeah.
Like he's my mentor, my hero, my dude, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that he called me and that your indirect servant leadership of saying, I'm going to talk about something that's impacted my life has now impacted my life for the last 15, 16 years of me developing goals and an understanding around business and real estate to the point where I've acquired a fair portfolio that is comfortable for me, and I've also been able to buy businesses and sell businesses and buy real estate. And holy cow, if I could help somebody do that in the next 15 years,
how awesome is that?
Or do it even faster than I did, or do it over the next 30 years simply because that's the interest that they want to pursue, I want to find those people. I want to have those conversations with them. And if that's what happens as we develop these relationships and as they connect with us, it's changed my life, and I want what we do and what we introduce to people to do the exact same thing for others. And they'll do it better than me.
I love that. Because it's not about, we're not saying quit your job tomorrow and become a full-time investor. Maybe you will one day, like I did. But maybe you're a business owner but just want to do a little bit more in real estate or plan for retirement. Or maybe you're somebody works out of the site, like one of our buddies that just got involved with us just last couple of days. He's like, I just want to be able to create something different than just my normal everyday job. And through real estate, he's going to be able to do that. And so he's not going to quit his job, which I hope he doesn't. He's got a great job, great retirement, but he's going to go out and he's going to buy some property. He's going to make some extra money to really change the trajectory of his family. Because you're making $100,000, $150,000 a year. You got a great job, great benefits, great retirement. What would happen if you flipped a house in the next 2 years and made $25,000, $30,000? What would that do for you and your family? What if you found 2 or 3 rental properties that brought in a couple $100 extra a month? And then you didn't even live off that, but you pushed it towards the mortgage. We could show you how to pay that mortgage off faster. And then when you turn 60 in 10 years, you have 5 properties paid off. And you collect rent every single month on those 5 properties. We're not talking 100 or 1,000 like Grant Cardone. Maybe you will. Maybe you will, but we're just talking, let's just get some things rolling. Because now you got a pension, you've retired. Now you have 5 properties, that's a tax write-off, plus you're getting pure cash flow off of those. How would that change your life and your kids' lives? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, decisions that you make over the next 5 years can reduce your retirement age by 50%, in my opinion.
Isn't that crazy?
It's just, and you could do it so much faster. It's just a matter of where do you want to pour the fuel to the fire, and if we can give you a couple of charcoal briquettes to make that even more productive.
Yeah, turn up the heat, throw a little gasoline on there. Throw a little wind on that. Here's a scary study that I read about 20 years ago. It was done by Lockheed and by Boeing. And they did a retirement study that if somebody works for them till they're 65 years old, the average they have to pay that person in retirement is 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years. If that person retires at 55, 10 years sooner, they have to pay that person in retirement up until they're 80. So think about the incentive of these companies to try and incentivize people to stay till they're 60. It's warped and it's sick when you think about it. But the companies are incentivizing, hey, work till you're 65. Not only will I get 10 more years of work out of you, but then I'm only going to pay your retirement for 3 years because chances are you're going to be dead. So what if we could show you a way that you could retire at 55, 58, and then you could live to be 80 instead of working till you're 65 with a big fat pension, which is awesome. But what if you only live 3 years because you worked those last 10 years?
Well, and I want to speak to something that's really impactful for me in the people that work for me. And I don't even like saying it that. The people that work with
you. There you go. I love that.
they're employed by the same company that I'm employed by. I just so happen to have a little bit of ownership.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what I want to see out of every single one of the people that work with me, and I want to run the numbers, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna create my own little case study. But for every person that earns between $50,000 and $100,000, I want to show what one property does for their tax situation, for their lifestyle, and for their ability to create that long-term wealth. Now, I don't want them to leave the company that we work in. I want them to be there long-term. But I also want them to have a lifestyle and create wealth because of them working with me. And so if one of my guys, entry level, makes $50,000 a year, if they make that 50 and then they're able to go and say, all right, we have one property, it's $200,000 property, and they're able to take a tax write-off on that property of, let's say, $10,000 a year. That just reduced their taxable liability by that $10,000, and then there's other write-offs and other things, and that right there changes the whole perspective on what happens in the next 5, 10, 20 years for them.
That's life-changing and powerful. I mean, that is. You're changing those people's lives by that.
Yeah,
I love it.
And I want that. Every person that comes in and touches what I get to work with, you know what? Let's go make it happen.
That's service. I mean, seriously, you're going to serve those people at a higher level. Not only are you giving them a job, but then to help them with like you said, even just one property. But maybe they'll buy 3. Who knows? But if you could help just one person buy one property, that one property can do tons for that person. And when you were talking that story, I thought about the story of Larry H. Miller. I don't know if you've ever read his book, but it's pretty phenomenal. But Karl Malone and John Stockton, arguably some of the best NBA players ever played the game. And it was always Stockton and Malone. I mean, nobody's had as many assists. I mean, Karl could make a jump shot, fading back jump shot, almost 99% of the time. If he got into that situation, you can't block that. But he would hit that basket every time. So there you go. 2 phenomenal people, never ever got a ring. And one of the things that in an interview with Karl Malone, they're like, why didn't you ever go to another NBA, place? And he goes, because of Larry H. Miller. And they're like, okay, tell us more about that. He goes, I get paid and I'm very well paid for what I do. But what he has done for me is he set me up for my future for generations. And they're like, what's that all about? Because he gave them, as part of signing bonuses to stay with the Jazz, car dealerships. Karl Malone is him and Stockton are in the top 1,000 people in the state of Utah for wealth. And it's not because of their NBA career, it's because of the dealerships that Larry H. Miller gave to them as part of their signing bonuses. Other people that played the same era that they did, arguably still at the top of the game, are not worth as much money and have the wealth that Stockton has or Malone has, because Larry H. Miller was like, this is bigger than just NBA. I'm going to take care of you guys for generations. And that's what it's done. And that's what you're doing for your people. That's awesome. I applaud that.
Well, you know what? This is all a work in process. And all of us have to take action in different regards. We can be given the knowledge, then we have to go and apply it.
Yeah.
And for some of my guys, some of the people that I work with, I just want them to get into their first home and then buy their first rental property and then buy their second and their third and their fourth and their fifth. And if that's where it stops for them, that right there, if they buy 5 $200,000 houses over the next 5 to 20 years, that's $1 million in wealth that's created as those pay off.
That's awesome. You can't do that anywhere else. You can't do that. And have the tax write-offs that it does. I just talked to a young couple this morning that's buying a duplex. They're buying a 3-bedroom, 1-bath with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath below. This one's rented, this one's vacant. They're going to move into that, move into it for a year. They're getting an FHA loan, so they're getting a better interest rate with very little money down. Their plan is to live into a year, and then they're going to rent out the top, and they're going to go buy another house. I'm like, I was so excited for them, I couldn't even hardly stand it. I'm like, I wish. I mean, I bought a house when I was single, and we turned that into a rental property, but man, to have that kind of knowledge that this is what we're doing. I kind of did it on accident when I first started, but they are purposefully doing this so that in the next 10 years, he wants 10 rental properties and they're in their 20s. Think about that.
No, that's amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So that's our hope with this podcast. Our hope with this podcast is you'll tune in, you'll listen, we can help you, we can inspire you to go out and do something a little different. Do something maybe against the grain. Get good debt, not bad debt. And I think of real estate as good debt. And we can help you turn that good debt into a legacy, turn that good debt into wealth and into cash flow, which right now, everybody needs a little more of that.
And we can talk more about good debt and bad debt, but if we were to basically summarize it, bad debt means that it costs you money and that it's liabilities and it's consumer type purchases. Your good debt is what makes you money and is able to pay itself off over a long period of time.
Awesome. So let's talk some goals. What are some goals we want to do over the next little bit? We got time for that?
Yeah, so we're nearing,
how many episodes you say we have now?
37.
37 episodes. That's awesome.
37 episodes. Our goal is to just continue to deliver good content. That would be one thing, is we want to deliver good content that enables somebody to take action and create their own form of wealth.
There you go. And if you have any ideas of what you'd like us to talk about, please message us. Tell us, hey, I'd really like to learn more about this. Or I heard this on your podcast. Can you dive deeper into that? I'm interested in that. Let us know.
Leave comments.
Leave comments. Yeah, leave comments and tell us what you like. Tell us what you would like to hear more of, because we are here to serve. I know that sounds cliche, but we really are. We really are, because we're just here to help and to give some of our knowledge that we've experienced over the last 20 some odd years back to you guys.
Yeah. So leave comments. Obviously the likes and the shares and the, subscribing, those are all really important. At the end of the day, this only grows into something that's impactful to people if they know about it. And Jason and I can only go so far. The reason why a podcast or a video cast actually works is that Jason and I can only have one-on-one conversations with so many people in any given period of time. But we're just going over, and it looks like we have 20,000 views on the podcast, on the video cast, just on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so if we go through those stats, like if that's 20,000 different people, divided by 40, that's 500 people that potentially could be consuming this content. And at the end of the day, if it impacts one person and it changes their life and they take action and they're able to create the wealth and the dreams and the success that they're trying to create, it was worth it.
Definitely. Love that. Yeah, so like Colter said, let me reiterate, subscribe, share, like, comment, do all that type of stuff, because that'll just help us to be able to grow this and reach more people and help more people.
Help us, help you.
That's the Jerry Maguire, help me, help you.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys.